figuring that out and we like to get started quick. So week number 15 of the Integrative Marketing webinar, we're going to be diving into Facebook Ads Manager and talking about messaging. Ryan, recently, the president of the company, who wasn't able to join us today, went to Traffic and Conversion, which is probably one of the biggest digital marketing summits, one of the biggest summits about doing paid advertising on the internet. And that was a month or two ago. And one of the biggest things they talked about as far as a change for 2018, the things that you need to start doing in 2018 is messaging ads. Now, we've been doing them off and on for a while, depending on the situation, because they work good for the right situation. They don't work as good for other situations. So we've been doing them off and on, but we've dived into them more recently. And a lot of super cool stuff that you can do. Messaging, so what we're talking about is Facebook Messenger. It's the messenger bot where you can instant chat with your friends and businesses and all of that stuff. You're able to get ads as an objective to get people to start messaging your business. So if you have a business, then you can get people to message you through advertising. And then there's also a lot of automated bots, is what they call them, messaging bots, that help you respond to all of these people, because the last thing you would want to do is run an ad and get 500 messages and you have to respond to each one of those messages manually. But the good thing is you don't have to do that. There's a lot of stuff built in that you're able to respond to those people automatically, much like with email autoresponders. That's something that's typically more common to people. So what are we going to learn today? We're going to learn about messenger ads and the power they have in the customer journey. We're going to learn how and when to use messenger ads. And then we're going to talk about the basics of auto reply messenger bots. We're not going to get into deep about auto reply messenger bots. That could be a whole nother 3-hour webinar if we needed it to. But we'll get into the basics, and so that we know so that you know what to search on YouTube to find the answer of how to set it up. So this is a funny one. Labor and delivery. It's okay, honey. Chatbots are the future of the customer experience. Yeah, so that's where things are going. And I mean, we make a joke out of it in this case, and hopefully labor and delivery never gets to this point, because that's a little bit more urgent and a little bit more customized for each situation. But with Messenger, then you can have these messenger bots that take your customer through the customer journey without you having to do it, yet it still feels personal. Which is super powerful. So type in the chat, what questions do you have? Any questions? Jerome, no audio? Adrienne, are you able to hear my audio? Let's see. Jerome said he can't hear my audio. Can other people hear my audio? Christina, Adrienne, I guess if you can't hear my audio, you can't type in. All right, Adrienne can hear my audio. Christina, Jim, Christina can hear you? Okay. Okay, Jerome can hear me now. Cool. Perfect. Well, let's keep on moving along. I'm glad you let me know that. That's kind of important. Audio is very helpful in this. So continue to type in the chat. Also, type in the chat if you have used Messenger at all. Type in if you say lots of using Messenger, a little bit of using Messenger, or an average amount of using Messenger. Just want to see where everybody is at as far as using Messenger. For their business, I should specify. While we're getting there, Jerome, not at all so far. Cool. Well, hopefully we can help you. The real advantage with Messenger is there's kind of two schools of thought, I guess. Is when grabbing leads. So this is Messenger is another way to basically grab leads for your business. The typical way of grabbing leads, this is the way that it's been done for a long time, is you send people to a website, you give them something of value in exchange for their email address. We've all been to those pages. Then you put in your email address, and then they send to you whatever it is that they promised you. They send to you the webinar. I actually just did this morning. I opted in for the webinar yesterday, and the webinar was today that I was watching. Or they send you a little guide. They send you a little ebook or guide or PDF checklist or whatever it is, and then you're on their email list, and then they can market to you through their email list. And there's a lot of argument on whether that's annoying or not, and really the answer to that is it depends on who's doing it. If done correctly, it's not annoying. So that's the way that it's been done typically, and that way is still very effective. We still do many of our ads that way. We send people from Facebook ad to landing page where they opt in with their email address to email autoresponder where they get some more content. Now this is a very similar process when we go to Messenger. You have an ad, you get people to message you in some form or fashion, and then you give them something in return for them messaging you. And then you can correspond with them through Messenger, much like email. Now the difference is that when we've run this, email open rates, Tori, you just jumped on. If you can hear me, Tori, type in what are your open rates on the autoresponder we have going for you. But typically, we'll see what Tori's are, but typically the email open rates are 15 to 50%, depending on a lot of things. With Messenger, then Messenger open rates are like 80 to 100%, which means that if you send your email or message to 10 people, then Messenger, 8 to 10 people are going to open and read your message, whereas on email, then 1 to 5 of them are going to open your email. And then the next step down is typically you're going to have a link in your email or message, and click rates in Messenger can be anywhere from, this varies super widely, but what we're seeing is probably 30 to 80%, whereas email, then we're seeing 10 to 20%, 5 to 20% probably. So when you do get Messenger leads, then they typically are a lot more, you're able to get your message in front of them a lot more because people are actually opening and reading your message. So that's kind of the difference, but they're very similar strategies. So let's dive in and and show you how to use Messenger. So we're in Ads Manager, we're gonna come and hit Create. And if you've been following along with us for the last couple of weeks, we've been walking through all the campaign objectives. We're in the consideration column right now. And we talked about traffic a few weeks ago, engagement a couple weeks ago, lead generation last week, and now we're on to messages. So we're gonna click on that messages. And we are going to name our campaign something logical. We're going to say messaging test. This is just a test. I don't actually have a campaign to set up. And then you name your ad set, and then there's a few options here of what we can do. And we'll talk a little bit about these different options. You gotta love Ads Manager because it's sometimes slow in general. Like Facebook, you'd think it'd be super fast, but it's really not that fast. But it's even slower when we're doing screen share. So anyway, we have two options here. We have click to Messenger, or we have sponsored messages. So click to Messenger, open Messenger conversation from ads. We hover over that I, then we get a little bit more detail. Send people from ads in Facebook, Instagram, or Messenger into Messenger conversation. So basically how that looks, I wish I would have pulled an example up. Basically how that looks is it's a typical ad. You have your picture with the post text above it. It says all of these great things, and then your picture, and then it has a little section below it with some bold writing, and then it has a button. That button by default will say send message, but you can change what that button says. When they click on that button, then it messages your Facebook page automatically, and it opens up in a conversation, and you can set what you're replying to them. And so you, by default, you reply to them immediately once they hit that send message button. So pretty cool. So that would basically replace typically that little button that says send message on these ads. Usually it says learn more by default. Typically, if you click on that button, then it would take you to a website. That's how most ads are ran. But these ones take you to Messenger. A sponsored message, type in the chat box if you have seen sponsored ads inside of your Messenger. Maybe while I'm talking, I can pull it up in my Messenger on my phone and maybe show you. We'll see if I have one right now. But these are sponsored messages. Tori, you get, yeah, you're seeing those sponsored messages inside of your Messenger inbox. So that's just another placement. So out of these two, I typically will use click to Messenger. So here we go. I'll just show you real quick. So let's see if we can show this. So I know you're not going to be able to see it super well, but all these messages up here are just messages with my friends and with businesses I've interacted with recently. This one that's called Blink with these big pictures, that is an ad. And I know it's an ad because it says sponsored there. You probably can't see that it says sponsored, but it does. So that's an ad. That's one of these ads. All right, so click to Messenger is what we're going to talk about today because that's typically going to be more relevant. It's what we use more often. All right. So coming on down, you're going to pick your audience. We're not going to talk about picking your audience today. We've talked about that in a previous webinar. Then you can edit your placements. This is typically important to do. Typically what we recommend is run it. You can run it on Facebook and Instagram, but run it in separate ad sets. So for this ad set, we're going to deselect. We're going to only run on Facebook feeds. It's the only place we're going to run this ad. All right. And then set your budget. All of that good stuff. Just decide on what your budget is that you want it to be. And then we're going to hit continue. Because all of that section is pretty much the same as any other type of ad that we've shown in previous webinars. But this last part is a bit different. While this is loading, one example that we've done is we have a client that he offers free golf balls. It's a membership where you can get free golf balls. And so we were running ads to a landing page to say get free golf balls. And the opt-in rate and the order rate really wasn't that good. And he started to have this hunch, and that's because this business model, having a membership to get golf balls, really only applies to a certain type of golfer. You really have to golf often enough to make it worth it. And so what we thought of was, okay, we should ask the questions to find out of the people that are seeing our ads, are they the right type of golfer or are they the wrong type of golfer? And so we did this two ways. We had it go to a landing page where there was questions, a series of questions. It says, how often do you golf? Like 1 to 2 times a week, 1 to 2 times a month, or once a month, or whatever. I don't know what the answers were. And then you click your answer, you go to the next question. What's your golf handicap? 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 plus, or something like that. And you click your answer, and then what type of golf ball do you use? And then based on those answers, then it said, okay, you qualify for our membership or you don't qualify for our membership. And through that, we discovered that 30% of the people 30% of the people qualified for the membership, meaning 70% of the people that we were marketing to did not qualify for the membership. It just wouldn't make sense to them. So why try to sell them something that just didn't make sense? Because then you get bad reviews, all of that stuff. Anyway, and then what we also did with Messenger, that's why I'm telling the story, because we used Messenger ads, is we put that same questionnaire in Messenger, and then we ran one of these types of ads. It says, send message. Basically, the text in the ad said, send us a message to see if you qualify for free golf balls, was essentially what the context was. And through this message, or through this ad, then we were getting Messenger leads, meaning subscribers to our Messenger bot for like 80 cents. 80 cents per Messenger lead. These are people that we can continually have conversations with. These are people that have been sorted out through our bot to say, these are the the qualified golfers for our membership. These are the not qualified golfers. Could call them good golfers and not as good golfers. I would fall into the definitely not qualified, not at all qualified, because I've golfed like once in my life. Anyway, so 80 cents messenger leads. Now, another thing in this specific case, we were getting cheaper leads through the typical process of landing page, and that was just worth testing. However, again, the thing to keep in mind is messenger leads were a little bit more expensive, but those messenger leads are more likely to open messages that we send to them rather than if we send emails to the other people. So benefits and drawbacks. Another time we ran this was with a fitness membership. We were giving away a lead magnet. So it was a 21-day challenge for fitness and nutrition. And we went through the typical process, you know, add to landing page, you opt in for the landing page, you get your materials delivered via email. And working pretty well, getting leads for a little over $1. And then we did them with Messenger, and leads, again, were a little bit more expensive. However, the open rates were 80 to 100% rather than 20 to 30%. And so more people were opening our messages in Messenger than were opening them in email. So that's another time we ran the same exact type of ad that we're going to be showing you. All right, so you set up your ad, choose your Facebook page. And through both of those, with the golf one, we grew the Messenger subscriber list by, it must have been 300 people, I want to say. I can't remember the exact numbers. And with the fitness one, we grew a Messenger subscriber list of like 1,000 or 700 to 1,000. I can't remember the exact numbers, but. All right, so then you select your picture and everything. We're not going to do that part. You select your text. Now we'll do an example of what a good text might look like. Let's say that we are offering a free webinar. This is Strategic Social Partners. Let's say we're doing a free webinar. So join our free webinar every week to learn tips and tricks for tips and tricks to get better results with Facebook ads, okay? We want to keep it nice and short. All right, send message to get your exclusive invitation. All right, send message to join. Okay, so here's our ad. Let's add an image because it just doesn't look right without an image. This image might not be fitting because I'm not going to upload an image, because if we try to upload an image, hey, this one is fitting. Look at that. All right, so Facebook ads training live. Send message to get your exclusive invitation. Okay, so now we can change our call to action button. Like I said, by default, it's send message, but you can change it to a couple other ones if you want. You have all of these options. We're going to keep it a send message because right here we say send message to get your exclusive invitation. And then what we can do is we can create a custom welcome experience. So if we edit Messenger setup, this is what they're going to see when they hit that send message button. So by default, it says, "Hi, Mitch, please let us know how we can help you." Okay, we don't want it to say that. We're going to say, "Hi, Mitch, thanks for wow, this is way behind." Anyway, you can personalize this message, and then here you can have suggested replies. You can connect your bot. So there's going to be a few ways to connect your bot, and that's what I said as the third thing we're going to learn is the basics of how to connect your bot. So you can have a couple things here. You can do suggested replies, or you can have buttons. So different reasons to do these things is if you want them to just reply and get into a conversation in Messenger, then you're going to use suggested reply. If you want to send them to your webinar landing page, then you can use a button. So we're just going to call it join the webinar. And then with that button, we can open a website or send post back. So this is if you have a bot, you can send a message back after they do that. But we're going to open a website. Okay. And then you can add another button. If you want to give them a couple options, you can add another button. So again, you can personalize this as much as you want. All right. So we're going to hit done here. No, we're not going to hit done. Another option you have to connect it to your bot is what is called JSON. Now, don't ask me what JSON stands for because I don't know, but I know how to use it. So JSON is a certain type of thing that the messenger bot that we use is called ManyChat. And so if you want to, what is a bot? Great question, Jerome. So a bot is something that will automatically respond on your behalf. So it'll say, if they click that button, join the webinar, then we will reply back to them with this certain message. Our bot, you can think of it as a robot, a messaging robot will reply back to them with a certain thing. So the bot system, the bot software that we use is called ManyChat. And it allows you to connect to Messenger ads via JSON. And when you're doing a growth tool and it has a JSON option, ManyChat will be a different lesson. So I'm just giving you the basics. So what I would do is look up YouTube, how to connect ManyChat to Facebook ads using JSON. And it'll show you all of these steps. But the basics is that it gives you the code and you delete all this code. You delete all of it. I didn't delete all of it, but you delete all of it and put in the new code that came from ManyChat. So that is another way to connect to your bot. And then the last way to connect to your bot is use your bot's get started screen. And so this is your bot's get started screen is going to be something you customize inside of your bot, but you can connect it here. All right. So to start out, what I would recommend. So that was that was a lot of complicated information, I know. I wanted to demonstrate the possibilities so that you can go and search on YouTube what it is specifically that you want to do. If you're just starting out, because the assignment we're going to give you today is to start with a messenger ad, is just start with this very, very basic stuff. Hit this first bubble, create a custom welcome experience, give them a quick messenger reply, and then invite them to start a conversation with you. As you get those messages, then start responding to them one-on-one. You know, one thing we found out with another one of our clients, not through Messenger, but is that we've tried to automate this experience of trying to get them to take the next action, and it wasn't working. And what we decided to do is, okay, we're just going to have somebody call these leads. We're getting leads. Have somebody call these leads and figure out what's going on manually. And so now, as we're figuring out what's going on manually, once we get to a larger sample size, then we'll have a lot better idea of how to automate the process. So that's what I would recommend you start with, is just get one welcome message and then pay attention to your ads and start responding to those people manually, you know, one at a time. It's a little bit annoying. It'll take some time out of your day. But as you do that for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then you'll get a really good idea of the conversation that you're having with pretty much everybody. And then you can automate that conversation. That's the next step. So start there. Any questions at this point? While you're thinking of your questions, I want to do another quick sample. This is if we have a lead magnet, a PDF download, a one-page document showing you how to do something. Now this ad is only going to appeal to a certain type of person. It's just the first thing that came to my mind. I just want to make the demonstrate. So click-through rate's not what you want. Send message to get our exclusive CTR boost guide. And so this would be a perfect example of we get them to send us a message to opt in for our CTR boost guide. I would need to change that if I was finishing this ad. They send us a message, and in this message, then we say, hey, thanks for messaging us. Here's your CTR boost guide. And then we link them to a file download. So that's another good example of how to use this. Jerome, you're going to start the process for your startup coaching. Awesome. Let us know if you need help. We can set up your ads, and then we can take a look at them and let you know what we think. So any other questions as we wrap up? That's how you set up the messenger ad. And then I better make sure that I didn't promise that we're going to teach you anything else besides what we've already taught you. So let's switch back to this screen. Webinar. So messenger ads and the power they have in the customer journey. Just to sum that up again, as you get people into Messenger, you can continue to educate them. As we've talked about over the last few weeks, you start at the top level with awareness, then you have to educate people while they're considering your business. They have a lot of questions. You help answer their questions and educate them on your process, and then there's the conversion. The messenger ads can come into that education piece where through a messenger bot, through automation, through even just manual messaging, you can educate these people. You know, education doesn't have to happen automatically. It can happen one at a time. Sometimes that's a little bit better, just slower. How and when to use messenger ads. We definitely use the how. When to use messenger ads. If you've tested out landing page, I would test out messenger as a way to get leads. If you have a guide, if you're a coach, if you want to try to do a free consult, a free coaching session, you can try it through messenger ads. And then the basics of auto reply messenger bots. That's a deep subject, like I said. We could have a whole 3 hours on it, and we're still learning how to connect messenger bots in the most effective way. But the one that we use is ManyChat. So that's where you can start there. So what you can do today, set up a messenger campaign. Just go for it, give it a try. Put $5 a day on it, and do that over the next week. Spend $35 and test it out. Make sure that it's working, like functioning. Make sure that people can message you. And see what types of messages you get. See what types of responses you get. See what types of questions people are having. And then you'll be able to respond to them in a really good way to answer their questions and help them overcome their objections to whatever it is your business is to get them to the next step, whether that's becoming a full-fledged lead, whether that's getting them on a phone call, whether that's watching a webinar, or whether that's buying a product. Maybe you have a small product. E-commerce, if any of you are in e-commerce, then lots of platforms are starting to integrate with Messenger where you can sell products directly through Messenger. So that's why this is powerful to get started now. This is still super new. This is like email marketing from the 90s. I don't know when email marketing came out actually, but this is new. Even though there's a lot, it's been around for maybe 1 year, but it's still super new. Still a lot you can do. So set up your messenger campaign, give it a go. Let us know if you have questions. And then on our next webinar, we are going to dive into the Facebook Pixel. Now this is, man, it is also a heavy subject. There's a lot to it. We'll start with the basics. But the Facebook Pixel is, if you looked at the campaign objectives where we go through, we talked about messages today, the next one on our list would be conversions. Well, before we can talk about conversions, we have to talk about the Facebook Pixel. The Facebook Pixel is super powerful and can really help you make much better decisions on your marketing. I made a video on our Facebook page a while back talking about how there was 2 campaigns. One campaign had link clicks for 50 cents, and one campaign had link clicks for $2. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was about that. to a beginner advertiser, then they would probably pick, I'm going to keep the ad running that gets 50-cent link clicks because that's better. But because of the Facebook Pixel, we were able to see that the campaign with 50-cent link clicks was getting $10 leads, which is what we really wanted, versus the campaign with $2 link clicks was getting us $5 leads. And so because of the Facebook Pixel, we could make a more educated decision and ultimately drive our cost per lead down. We have other campaigns where if we weren't running the Facebook Pixel, our leads would be like $10, whereas because of the Facebook Pixel, they're at like $1.50. So Facebook Pixel is super powerful. We'll get started with the basics next week. And so come back and join us. Same time, same channel. Reach out to us in the meantime if you have any questions. We will talk to you next week. Thanks for joining.